Hello, my name is Alacia Gibson, and today we're going to discuss the merger, acquisition, and restructuring strategies of companies. And the company I'm choosing to focus on today is the T-Mobile and Sprint recent merger that took place on April 1st, 2020. So, Sprint Corporation was founded in 1899 as the Brown Telephone Company, and it was headquartered in Overland Park, Kansas. It's known for servicing consumers offering wireless and wireline voice and data transmission devices, as well as data transmission services to over 54.3 million customers in all 50 states. Um, Prior to the merger, it was known as the fourth largest wireless provider in the US market. And that's behind AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Prior to the acquisition or the merger between T-Mobile, it had previous experiences with multiple companies, such as the General Telephone and Electric Corporation in 1982, as well as its merger with Nextel Corporation to form Sprint Nextel in 2005. Ultimately, in 2013, Sprint Nextel was acquired by a Japanese multinational telecommunications company by the name of SoftBank Corporation, which led to the closing of Nextel's operation, and the company then reverted back to its original name as Sprint Corporation. Prior to this merger that took place in 2020 with T-Mobile, Sprint also had a lot of different uh, indications that it was time for it to either merge or be acquired by other companies. And with that, it had a significant, substantial decrease from its peak of 40,000 employees in 2011 to just 28,500 employees in 2019. And so this led to other companies seeking it out to basically merge with it or acquire it. Prior to it merging with T-Mobile, it had a centralized organizational structure consisting of multiple executives within the company. T-Mobile is a company that was founded in 1994 and is headquartered in Bellevue, Washington. Was known as the third largest wireless provider in the US market. It services the United States, Puerto Rico, and the United States Virgin Islands. From its humble beginnings, it has grown to now offer voice messaging and data services to 108.7 million customers in the postpaid, prepaid, and wholesale markets. The company has been able to amass a tremendous success through its various diversification strategies as it pertains to different retail channels. And this is done through its website, its T-Mobile app, its customer care centers, as well as its third-party vending services, to where it sells its devices to multiple third-party vendors for distribution and resale. It has currently 75,000 employees and $68 billion in revenue in 2022. And it operates under a centralized organizational structure similar to Sprint Corporation. So with the merger, this was a real merger. We know this because the primary difference between a merger and acquisition is mergers is the combining of two organizations into an entirely new entity, while an acquisition is when one company absorbs another, but no new organization is created. As we know, we can conclude that T-Mobile's merger with Sprint is a true merger by the fact that it was able to successfully integrate its different executive teams along with its operations and resources to create what is now known as the new T-Mobile. Under this new T-Mobile, it asserts that it will now be able to reach a large variety of underserved communities and will allow T-Mobile to have a larger capacity than it had. It will equip them actually with 14 times more capacity than it's had in the last 6 years as a standalone company. With this new merger, T-Mobile plans to drive its planned investment of $40 billion into its network and also bring lightning fast speeds to urban areas and underserved rural communities, along with possessing the potential to unlock massive scale and unleash at least $43 billion in revenue to its shareholders. Additionally, with this merger, executives from the Sprint Corporation joined the executive team of the new T-Mobile in new roles. So due to this seamless integration of the executive teams, the operations, the resources, we can consider this a friendly merger and a friendly acquisition, if you will, as opposed to a hostile merger or a hostile takeover. So there are many reasons that this merger has been deemed beneficial for both T-Mobile and Sprint Corporation. The primary reason being that this merger will allow T-Mobile to captivate a larger part of the market and increase T-Mobile's overall market power. As aforementioned, T-Mobile served as the third largest provider in the US market, behind AT&T and Verizon, respectively. In addition to this, Sprint Corporation have been trailing behind all of these companies as well. Thus, merging the two companies together would allow for T-Mobile to enhance its overall asset portfolio and allow the company to tap into the markets and capabilities that Sprint had been able to service previously, as well as allow T-Mobile to utilize those different assets and product development capabilities that Sprint has in order for both T-Mobile and Sprint to become more competitive in the marketplace and stay ahead of the curve and be more innovative, to remain competitive in the marketplace and hopefully occupy more of that market share. As far as from a standpoint of why companies choose to acquire other companies or merge with other companies, it's from a competitive standpoint. It will allow them to exercise a core competency between both of the two companies and merge those core competencies together in order to gain that competitive advantage that both of the companies desperately need. With this merger, it allowed T-Mobile to become the only standalone 5G network in the marketplace currently, and increase their market power overall. But there are some problems that existed with this merger. So as you know, when two companies merge together, there's going to be a clash of cultural values, and making sure that the synergies align with one another. And so what we found is that there have been some issues with merging these two companies together. So one of the primary issues that T-Mobile faced with the Sprint Corporation merger is achieving that seamless integration and making sure that that proper synergy between the two companies was fully addressed, both culturally and within the service that they offered. Immediately after the merger took place, many T-Mobile customers complained about the reception and the service that they received declining. And this was both in the service and reception of the service itself, as well as the customer service they received. And this resulted in T-Mobile receiving above average to just average reviews as it pertained to customer satisfaction. Many employees within T-Mobile, as well as consumers, found that the company was no longer placing their employees and their customers first, which is why a lot of people chose T-Mobile, as well as for their service. And this is something that Sprint had a long time issue with as a company, is that many consumers were unhappy with the service that they provided and weren't happy with their customer service. In addition to this, another issue that T-Mobile faced was that when mergers take place, you have to be aware of the pre-existing debts or the large debts that companies that you acquire or merge with may have. And so this is said to be true with Sprint and one of their rivals, Dish, that they worked with. They had a large outstanding debt that now T-Mobile is responsible for servicing for the next 3 to 7 years. And so even with these problems that they incurred in the merger, they have seen a large increase in their financial performance since the merger. Since the merger, T-Mobile has become the second largest wireless provider in the market. They were previously third, and so they've seen that they have been able to occupy more of that market share in the US. They've also seen a significant increase in their revenues from 45 billion to 68.4 billion immediately after the merger took place. In addition to this, they saw that they increased their customer base from 68.4 million to 98.33 million subscribers in just one quarter. Also, we saw that there were significant increases in revenues, net incomes, as well as net profit margins. Future recommendations for the T-Mobile company is to focus on those cultural synergies between the two companies. It's important for them to not only leverage their key stakeholders, but place more value into their key stakeholders in order to ensure that they're happy and that they continue to put quality products within the market. If their stakeholders are happy, they will continue to generate top tier products because their employees will be happier and more motivated to want to produce great products and work for the company, and consumers alike will follow suit and they will love their products and be loyal to the company. They also need to address those customer satisfaction issues in order to let consumers and employees know that they've been heard and that they value them and that they care. This was the foundation that grew T-Mobile, and this will be the foundation that will continue to allow T-Mobile to occupy more of that market share. They also need to continue to build on both the company's core competencies to remain competitive in the marketplace. And this involves building on that internal product development that they've been able to increase, which will also increase their speed to market so that they can remain innovative and remain a leader in the marketplace as it pertains to technology, innovation, and those high network speeds that consumers love. Also, I think the T-Mobile company should focus on looking to diversify their portfolio. Most of T-Mobile's acquisitions and mergers that they've been a part of have been in the same industry. And so I think it would really serve the company well to diversify their portfolio a bit and possibly look into acquisitions or mergers of other companies within similar spaces, but that are a little bit different, such as Netflix or Hulu or Xfinity. I think this will not only drive profits, but this will let other competitors in the market space know that they are not a one-trick pony and that they are able to be competitive in multiple spaces and that they're continuing to remain competitive in the marketplace. This has been my presentation on merger, acquisition, and restructuring strategies, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you.